So I decided to do like a short educational video. I wanted to use a lot of the all of the tools or so for like text and caption, automatic captions that you got in TikTok. And I think that made the whole process a little bit easier because video processing and like making those kinds of videos like for YouTube is not really something that is usually like my first response for stuff. I'm not really the type to go and make that kind of content. I mean, I would consume it, but making the content and being on camera is not usually something that comes easily to me. So I thought that forcing myself into a position where I had to had to make some content to basically put out there, to go and get my ideas out there, to get these thoughts out there, to take all the research that I've done and distill that into a lot more digestible form, because these papers are long. It's each one of the sources that I got 5 sources, and it's about 10 to 15 pages each. And granted, I didn't read through all of that, but at least 70 to 80% of that content. And then trying to squeeze that down into about 5 minutes, that was a challenge or so. Fundamentally, what I was trying to go for is understanding why levels of abstraction that were used in computer science are so helpful, are potentially so much more helpful for elementary students for just understanding mathematic content, like understanding why we're using different levels of complexity throughout the problem and being cognizant towards it. A lot of times I found that there was a lot of overlap between sources saying that it's not just good enough to actively switch between levels of abstraction while you're teaching. While you're teaching, you need to make sure that when the students are doing that themselves, that they themselves are journaling, or they are just making they're making a conscious effort to mark when they're making those changes so that they can internalize that. And I thought that that was really important. I wanted to really emphasize the need to actively examine the need for that particular level of abstraction, or where it might be problematic. It's kind of why I wanted to use like the water example per se. Like in the first example, we were just talking about a triangle. So you're using your basic understanding of that just to do the code as it is, just working with the raw rules as they are. But beyond that, you could just think of like, I need a triangle to be made. And you make a function that does exactly that. So you've taken it from one level to another level, where it's just the raw code to something actually intelligible. And another way you can take it is just thinking for like the water bottle example themselves. You go from just dealing with high level mathematics to simply just taking a look with your eyes and just seeing the difference automatically. There's no need for applying like math laws that have to be derived. There's no need for any extra interpretation or any extra assumptions that need to be made, or calibrations for instruments for measuring certain things. All that's just there in the basic measurement. So understanding where you might need to go higher or understanding where you might need to go lower is very important. So I think that